tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Arogya paramalabha santutti paramang dhanang viswasa paramanyati nibbhanang paramang sukhang. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened Buddha. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today we are going to discuss how to lead a very happy life. We always wish to be happy. No one in this world is not ready to feel suffering, feel pain, or any disturbance in their life. So what is the art and the way, the method to be happy? Our enlightened Buddha has taught us a very clear and very specific, a very right way for us to practice, to be happy in this life as well as to be happy in our samsaric journey, and also to find the ultimate happiness which is beyond cause and conditions. So to be happy, happiness you cannot find somewhere. Some people think when you reach to a certain level or to a certain place, when you reach to a certain position, you think you will be able to reach happiness or reap happiness. But you cannot get happiness in that way. How can we get happiness? The happiness is a byproduct. It doesn't come as something absolute where you can catch it or take it. Therefore, friends, to develop the right way of life so that byproduct happiness will reach to you. So Buddha says that we need to look at our mind, how our mind works and how we live depending on our thoughts. Then we can develop happiness. So we are going a rat race without a stop, without any knowing what we are doing and what are our directions. Perhaps we misled and having a very troublesome depression, anxiety, worries. All these frustrations are following us. Why? Because we don't know how to control our mind, how to view our life in a happy way. Buddha says that the highest happiness comes from the contentment. When we are contented with the things we are having, then we can be very happy. Recently, I happened to listen to a very nice story, which was happened in India. There is a very famous philanthropist woman in India. She owned a very huge company. And one day she was going to a village to support some poor ladies. But on the way, her car was broken down and she has to stop for a while. And it was middle of the evening or the night and it was dark. And the driver of her car went in search of some mechanic to fix the car. While she was going to see a mechanic, she come out of the car and went to some lights nearby. It was happened to be a very small shrine, and there were two old couple that was doing puja in this small Hindu shrine. And she went to there and she talked to them, and she heard that he was doing puja for the village people, the pusari or the religious leader. And when he do this service, he get like 10 Indian rupees per each puja as for his service, as a gratification or as a gratitude. Then this lady also noticed these two couple was blind, and she gave 100 Indian rupees to this old man, and he touched the money and he understood it was not 10 rupee, it was 100 rupee. Then he said, I don't need this money. He said, why? Because normally I get 10 rupees. And this lady said, okay, don't worry, I will send some more money for you to sustain because you are very old and no one to look after you and you are blind. So I will help you. Then this old gentleman told to this philanthropist lady, the money I get from the villages is enough. $10 or 10 rupees is enough. And if I have more money, I will be having a lot of problems. I have to look after my property and my wealth, and villages will not give me any support. They will give me food. So sometimes we are running behind too much without enjoying what we are having already. So it is first thing is to live in the present moment, not to live in the future, in order to be happy. The second thing is how we balance our present and the future. We should not sacrifice our future also. We need to look after our future also, plan for future also. But we should not worry about the future. What you should need to be done at this moment in order to make your future secure, a safe, a sound, good future, so you have to do it. But you don't need to worry because that future hasn't come yet. So I can give a very simple simile about how we can look at our future also. Perhaps I take from present context, people used to eat hamburgers. Sometimes people like to eat very salty and unhealthy junk like hamburger made from meat. And also you have option of eating veggie meat, veggie hamburger, which is healthy, not so tasty, but it can help you to have a very healthy life here and now as well as in future. So when you have that kind of attitude, that means you have to have meaning as well as happiness for your actions. If you only look for your happiness, not look for any meaning or any repercussions behind your actions, that will cause you suffering and harm. And recently, scientific studies has done to be how to be happy. So this scientific research has given some insights for us to think about our past practice. We as Buddhists always practice generosity. We always practice sacrifice. We sacrifice our time, our energy, our things to the benefit of others. The modern science has found out that some people are like go-getters. They like to get more, they like to collect more for themselves. That is our human nature. We need to have something for ourselves, but that is not enough. That is not sufficient. Buddha says we have to be some amount of generosity, because when you practice generosity, we can understand that it can help us to develop a lot of good hormones in our body. which in turns, these good hormones, when we practice generosity, these good hormones secrete into our blood, our body cells, and these things help us to have better skin, better, happier life, and also good state of mind. What is more important is to have a good state of mind. When you practice generosity, it helps us to be happy. And also one time, some people think, how can we practice generosity? I am so poor. One time Buddha met a very poor man who is very old and quite feeble, and he doesn't have anything to give. Then Buddha asked, he said to Buddha, I am so suffering. I have no any relief. Then Buddha says, if you are suffering, it is better you practice generosity. Then he said, I don't have anything to give. How can I practice generosity? I am so poor. Then Buddha says, okay, look at you. You have a mouth. You can give a very nice smile to people who are coming this way, who are very tired, weary, and maybe you can guide them through your mouth to where to go, like that. So similarly, and also you have hands. You can use these hands to help others. You have feet. You can walk for the benefit of others. So in that way, even the poorest person still can practice generosity. So those who give are more happier than those who receive. So that is the most recent scientific research has suggested. And another quality, the way Buddha told us to be happy is to develop these qualities. Another good quality Buddha has taught us to develop is the gratitude, the gratefulness. So to be grateful for our life, every day, more than 500,000, maybe 1 million people out of 700, 800 billion people sleep. And some of them will not wake up forever. So we can be grateful for our life itself, that we are living, we are having all these faculties, we have sound state of mind. So be grateful about what you are having. And also grateful about your environment, grateful about those people who make food for you, grateful about people who make transport for you. So anything in your life, don't take it for granted. So if you practice, those who want to be happy, they need to be grateful for things they are receiving, things done for them. So all this gratefulness is very important quality we need to be developed. And also Buddha told us in Girimananda Sutta, to be happy, we need to develop one thing called Visama Pariharaja. How we conduct or how we look after our body and mind. So perhaps in modern world, the people can be very lazy, and also they are having a lot of habits, and they are doing certain things which are very harmful to their life. Now people are very lazy, they are sitting near the TV all the time and eating perhaps some junk food, and also watching some unnecessary things, and which can be polluted to your mind, which can bring some restlessness into your mind. So it is very important for us to have a very good way of life. So Visama Pariharaja means when you conduct your life in such a way that it can harmful to your health, it can be harmful to your mental balance, it can be very detrimental for your well-being. So it is the very important aspect is to balance our life in a not detrimental way, not harmful way. So Buddha says that we need to develop this Visama Pariharaja, not to have wrong way of life. So under this, another quality we need to develop is the Salla Ukauti, that which is simplify our life. Because now people's life has become so complicated. They don't have time to think. They don't have time to reflect about their life, what they are doing, how they are doing, and they are so restless, so troubled by the load of work they are having. So if we can make our life a little bit simpler, with a little bit more less complicated, then we can have some rest and some happiness in our life. So Buddha says it's very important to stop trying not to do too much. If you are doing too much, it is very, very harmful for our life. Perhaps we need to address this with regard to how much time we allocate to look after our mind. Perhaps in modern day, another very important aspect in our life, we need to incorporate meditation into life, because we spend so much time on our body, to decorate our body, to make our body happy, feel well. So all these things are done. All the media, everything is encouraging us to focus on our body. But what is really important, what really matters in our life is the mind. If we cannot address our mind, how we nourish our mind, how we give nutrients to our mind is really, really important. So food for the mind is very important. Buddha says there are three ways we can gain lot of emotions to our foods to our mind. These foods are, some foods are harmful, some foods are very good. So Buddha says we need to develop love, kindness, compassion, care, sharing. These kind of attitudes we need to take into consideration and pay our attention to develop these qualities within ourselves. Because sometimes we are building many things outside, 100-story buildings or very big complex, but we are not paying attention to building inner mind, inner qualities. Perhaps even when you have all these things around you, but you may perhaps have thoughts of jumping out of 100-story building because you don't develop the qualities that is needed to be developed within mind. So it's very important to build the mindfulness in our mind, something within. So the present day, the scientific discoveries has found out that it's so very helpful, because it is more needed today, because as society in advance, we are more restless because we don't have time to rest. So it is like some panacea now in the Western world, in the Europe, America and other countries, they are using for the patients and also the military, for other sports, and many sectors of the society are using the mindfulness for their day-to-day activities, so that they can enhance their mental abilities, they can resist for the depression, they can get some redress and relief from their mental depressions. So these kind of things will help us to develop a better and good mental state in our mind. So our mind is like a mirror. So if you develop our mind, you can see that when you see if you take the mirror as a mind, as a consciousness, as example, in front of the mirror, there are certain things appear, ugly faces come in front of the mirror, the beautiful faces come in front of the mirror, and quite average faces come in front of the mirror, but mirror doesn't care which comes in front of it. So similarly, if you can develop our mind like a mirror, then the state of mind is very important. So you just look how the thoughts arising in your mind, and it sustain in your mind and pass away. So you are not affected by the thought. It's just a thought coming and going. It's not something going to be forever. So when we have failures and heartbroken, some tragedies in our life, we always have these memories. These memories cause us a lot of problems, a lot of sufferings, a lot of prayers. So we need to have clear understanding how to face these kind of memories. There was a very old couple living in a house. Since they are very old and weak and people, they don't do the cleaning in their house very often, and the house was a little bit lousy. Did not have a very clean environment. Every day when they are having a dinner or lunch in their house, they used to say how dirty is their neighbor's window clothes or the curtains. So they were saying it's very dirty, very bad, and they are not keeping their window curtains very nicely. Why? Because they were every day complaining about this. After a few weeks, 1 month or 2 months, they have that lady, the gentleman in the house told that again that house curtains are very pretty and beautiful. How come? Then the lady of the house told, today I clean our windows and cobwebs in our window. So actually when we have these memories in our mind, we look the world through the cobwebs and all the dirts in our mind, in our eyes, so that we don't see the changing nature of the world, the beautiful world outside. So we will always look with the all outlook within us. We look through these all glasses which we have created, all memories which we have created in our mind. Therefore, it is very important for us to have a clear view of the world. We don't need to be worried about the past. Buddha says that we need to forgive, we need to forget for our past, because past is past. It's gone. You cannot change. You cannot correct. So what is more important is to live in the present and look forward to future. But you don't need to be restless in the future. So when we have this kind of attitude, people always try to impress others. To impress through buying a good car, buying good clothes, good shoes, you can impress people. But what is more important is to impact, how you can impact other people. Impressions can go very quickly, but if you can make an impact inside the other people, that have a long-term effect. How can we make impacts? We have to have good values, we have to have good behavior. So when we have good behavior, good state of mind, then we can have an impact on the society. So what is more important is to have an impact and important aspects in our life, so that other people can have like example, they can follow us, they can copy us. So that is the most important in our life. So to be happy, Buddha says we need to develop our inner qualities. Especially we have to balance our economic life, we have to balance our social life, we have to balance our spiritual life. We always try to develop our economic and social life, but we are not focusing on our spiritual life. So the mind is the most important organ in our body. Mind is the most forerunner in our life. So we need to look after our mind. We need to take care of our mind in a correct way, with right noble way, so that when we have right noble way in our life, we can be more happier. When we are more grateful, when we are more kind, when we have more compassionate, when we can share our wealth and other things with others and make others happy, then happiness will come to you. If you spread the happiness, happiness will come to you. That is how the world works. So thank you very much. May the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha guide you and protect you. Let us pay our tribute and transfer merits to all the deities. Akasattha ca Bhummattha Deva Naga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkantu Sasanang. Akasattha ca Bhummattha Deva Naga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkantu Desanang. ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු මං පරං.